Adjustments meeting is called to order. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Barry Holder Jr.,
Here.
Brandon White,
Here.
Ashley Kennedy,
Here.
Margaret Townsley,
Here.
Johnny King,
Here.
Mitch Buchanan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. The board members have each received a copy of the BZA minutes from last month's meeting on October 12th of 2021. Is there anything that needs to be corrected with these minutes, or does someone want to make a motion to approve them?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
All right, second.
Second that motion.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Say nay. All righty, motion carries. Secretary, will you please call our first item, our only item of business?
Absolutely. In accordance with Articles 4, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Strategic Property 2, LLC, is requesting a conditional use permit in order to permit a duplex land use for the property located at 216 Holmes Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 061-43-05-015.00.
Thank you. All right, Jordan, you've got the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you all. As Don mentioned in the request, that 216 Holm Street is asking for a conditional use permit to allow a duplex on a currently vacant lot. It has about 60 feet of frontage along Holm Street, and it's approximately about 13,000 square feet in size. They would like to construct two-bedroom units that are attached on the lot, which is we would qualify as a duplex land use in our zoning regs. The property's previously been used as a playground area for an adjacent daycare. There's currently a fence, about a 4-foot fence in the front yard. In our files at the planning office, there was a building permit to demolish a single-family dwelling in 1971, so that was probably the last structure that ever existed on that lot. Since then, it's been vacant to our knowledge. So this property, along with 2 lots behind it that are currently paved parking lots that have frontage on Wallace, it's been deeded and sold along with this lot since its entirety, at least as far as its records go, in the PVA office. And the current owner also owns these lots. So they're proposing to use those lots as the parking for the duplex that they would like to construct. So for this use, we just had to follow the basic standards and regulations for conditional uses in Article 19.01. And for those that apply, we had positive findings for the request. And we do recommend approval with 4 conditions. One of them being that the conditional use be transferable, as a new building would be constructed on the lot that will be a duplex. And so that use, it would transfer to the next owner, so that it would not be a non-conforming. And something else that we'll look at is that the appropriate landscaping will be installed. There is some landscaping and fencing that is on the, I believe it's would be the east elevation, the east side of the lot that's required, since there's a single family dwelling, non-owner occupied, that's adjacent. There is some basic screening that needs to be there. So we'll work with the applicant to make sure that those requirements in Article 7 are fulfilled. And also that the basic, bulk density, height, setbacks, and those standards are followed for the RC zoning district, which this property is zoned. There's kind of a hodgepodge of zoning properties and zoning districts that are surround this property. We have CG, which is general commercial, IC, industrial commercial, RC is single family urban density district, commercial limited. So there's a lot of different zonings and land uses that are around this area on Home Street. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. The applicant is here as well.
Jordan, I have one question. I'm just curious more than anything. It used to be a flooding problem down on Home Street, and I believe that's been fairly well eliminated. Is that still the case, that they really are not having flooding like they used to, so this structure wouldn't have to be elevated a certain amount?
Yeah, so this property, where it's located, it's not in any flood zone there, and I think a lot of the flooding issues on Home Street were a little bit further towards the end of it, towards Wilkinson Boulevard there, and as it transfers over to Owenton Road, with the culvert that they installed. So the property I think is okay as far as the flooding aspect. There is Fort Hill behind it, that may shed a little water, but yeah, it's not any floods or anything like that. That any requirements like that that need to be met.
Jordan, just for your, prior to that being a daycare, that was, and I don't think they ever had any problem. Green's nursing home, with flooding, I think it's elevated enough. Didn't even get any. Home Street was flooded.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of sits up and it kind of sits up higher and sheds down at Home Street. And as you go further toward, across the road and get to those industrial uses, the elevation goes down. The topography does.
Jordan, I have a question as well. Since it's pretty atypical actually for a CUP to be transferable, and I'm not really questioning the fact that you're asking for it to be transferable because of a new building being constructed and so forth. I just wonder, exactly how would that, or would that in any way limit us by allowing it to be transferable? How exactly does that work then in this instance?
So I just was thinking of it from, I guess, maybe a legal aspect is when this property is transferred to someone else, that the conditional use is, so let's say maybe that for some reason that person wanted to, something happened to that building where they needed to maybe expand it a little bit, but it still met the bulk density and height regulations, then that conditional use is being expanded, but it's still permitted, and we don't have to revisit it again with you guys as long as it meets the basic standards in the zoning regs. I guess I was thinking that since it's a structure that's actually a physical structure that's being there, that it should be transferable in case it did have a new owner, versus something like a use where we already have an existing building. Usually we don't transfer those. We want, in case, let's say it's a restaurant and then someone sells that property and then they want to have a restaurant too, but they have a totally different business plan and things like that. That's something we probably want to look at again. But since this is just a structure that's already going to be built, and I felt like that it would just be appropriate that it would be transferable to the next owner.
Thank you.
And
Jordan,
we do things like that with like blanket CUPs and stuff with the Architecture Review Board, because they visit conditional uses in our historic district. This isn't a blanket CUP, but you could maybe think of it kind of like that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, would you have any objection to limiting it to a one-time transfer? Would that?
That would be fine with me. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Is that all the questions that we have for Jordan? All right. Go ahead, Margaret.
I have a question for Ed. Why would you want to limit it to just one transfer?
The Jordan said do this was it was the construction and this occupant. We have had it occupant. So I really would not like to break without having some justification for doing it. You know,
All right. Any other questions for Jordan? It looks like we have the applicant on as well, Mr. Baker.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Mrs. Baker, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Would you like to add anything to what Jordan told us about the application?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do any of the board members have questions for the applicant?
Ashley, may I get the applicant's full name? Oh, never mind. I found it on the application. Never mind. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
could we ask if he agrees with the staff put on?
Yes,
Mr. Logan is cutting out. I couldn't hear what he asked.
he was asking if you've read the conditional use, the conditions that were listed on the staff report, the 4 conditions. Have you read those and do you agree with those?
Yes, yes, I have.
Okay.
And yes, we agree with those.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant board? All righty. If there are no questions, we can move into a time of discussion. Is there any discussion that we need to have? All right, I think it's pretty straightforward. If there's no discussion, would someone like to make a motion on this item? Anyone?
I think Margaret wants to make a motion.
I know, I was thinking that too. Margaret, why don't you go ahead and make a motion?
Didn't hide very well, did I? Okay. Correct me if I get it wrong. I request that the Board of Zoning Adjustment approve the request for conditional use permit in accordance with Article 4, 18, and 19 of City of Frankfort Zoning Ordinance, Strategic Property 2 LLC for the construction of a duplex on the property located at 216 Home Street. The property is more particularly described as PVA map number 06143050150. With 4 conditions, the 4 conditions being: 1, the conditional use is transferable as a new building that will be constructed and will be laid out as a duplex. 2, the applicant will work with staff to ensure that the appropriate landscaping and screening will be installed before building permit is issued. 3, the building permit shall be obtained prior to construction. 4, the proposed duplex shall conform to the bulk density and height standards for the RC zoning district as established in the Frankfort zoning regulations. And I failed to mention there's a 5th condition Mr. Logan proposed, which is that there only be 1 transfer of this conditional use permit.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Secretary, will you please take a vote?
Mr. Holder,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Townsley,
Yes.
Ms. Kennedy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All righty. All right, we just have the one item of business, correct? That's all we're here for today. All righty. Well, if there is no other business, Mitch, do you want to make a motion to adjourn?
I can make that motion. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
All right, do I have a second? All right, Townsley seconds. All right, there being no further business, we are adjourned. 45. Great to see you all, and thank you for your attendance.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
See you.
Bye, everyone. Good to see
Thanks.
you.
Bye-bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.